One of the things we love to do when we visit Japan is stay in the amazing hot spring hotels, and in this video I'm going to share with you my favorite Japanese hot spring hotels. They're going to be ordered from our most recent stay to our oldest stay, and so in this video you're going to see me get younger. One of the things I'm always being asked is for recommendations on Japanese hot spring hotels with private baths or private onsens, and so the first two hotels on this list will be for you if you want the hot spring all to yourself without other people. This one that we're going to start with, the Hotel Ookawaso, which is located 250 kilometers north of Tokyo in the town of Aenokaze, Onsen, Japan. You can rent out the hot spring all to yourself. It's a public bath in the daytime, and then at night they've got times you can book it just for you. All right, let's take a look at this one. It's a 10-story hotel, 110 rooms, circular driveway. This is the entrance. Let's come and take a look. So to get in the hotel from that circular driveway, the first thing we go over is we go over this bridge that's over this neat water feature. And then the front entrance is just this way. When you check in at check-in time, there will be a lot of staff here waiting to take your bags and help whisk you up to your room. Really neat sliding doors that have this Japanese theme on it. Nice kind of woody check-in area. Oh, by the way, it's so nice and warm in here. It's February and it's really cold outside. Okay, take a look at this, which is where I started this video. Just look down here. So this is where people will be performing the music from 4 to 6 p.m. Down there, there's restaurants where you can have kaiseki dining. I'm gonna show you our kaiseki dining later. So one of the really nice things about this onsen hotel is it has not just outdoor onsens, but it has outdoor onsens that you can book privately, which is what we're actually in right now. You could book the onsen all to yourself for just 3,300 yen, so about $30 US for 45 minutes of private onsen time. And by the way, something interesting about the water in this onsen is that the water has sulfur in it, but it doesn't smell. Actually, most onsen water smells quite a bit, and this doesn't. And by the way, right now here in February, it's actually snowing right out there, and that's the classic time to be in an onsen. But it's nice because this has a wooden roof over it, though I will point out that the walk down to this onsen is not heated, and so if you're here in the winter, it's a bit cold before you get into the water. So today I want to show you around not just any room in this hotel, but the best room in this hotel. This is room 1001, a suite on the 10th floor. Come on in, let me show you around. As you come into this room, you first start in this grand entry lobby. It's tatami mats that's traditional in a Japanese room, so we take off our slippers and come up on the tatami mats. We've got two ways to go, but we're gonna go ahead and come in this way through the awning. I'll open this up for the camera to come in. Now we've got like 3 ways that we can choose to go in, but let's go ahead and choose to go in this way. I'm gonna call this the grand salon of the room. This is where you come in when you check in. You have a seat right here, and the person bringing you to your room will prepare some green tea for you. There's the ceremonial altar. In the next room, which is this way, if you just have a couple people in the room, they'll set this up as the bedroom with a couple of futons here on the floor. If you have up to 6 people, then they'll also move this table and put beds over here. Now let's go ahead and come this way. This is just a little bit of a hallway, but this hallway's here because you could actually connect this to another room if you've got more than 6 people. In the daytime, there's a great view of the stream and ravine down below. There's some mirrors and a little seat that you could sit there. For the camera person, I'll ask them to watch their step as they come down here into the living room portion. This is something you don't see almost ever in onsen hotel rooms, at least none of the ones that I've typically stayed in, but it's got sofas, it's got a television over there, there's another window over there that has the screens on it, there's some artwork right here, and let's go back this way. This room is like nearly bigger than our house, I think. And then this is where they keep the tatami mats. Was there one more spot that I missed this way? No, we were good. And so now as we go into the main entryway again, if we go the other direction, it feels kind of like a mouse finding cheese, a little bit of a maze. As we come this way, we've got 2 choices for the bathroom. And I always find this kind of interesting, but it's fairly common in onsen hotels. And 2 choices for the bathroom, and I'll show you in one and then we'll go in the other. This one's the toilet room, and so I want to point out there's toilet slippers here. So you'll wear the toilet slippers as you come into the toilet room, And as I walk into this toilet room, the seat lifted up as I walked in, and a light turns on and it sprays because it's the really fancy, take a look at this giant control panel right here to do everything from clean and dry and pressure and position and deodorize the toilet seat as well. There's a sink in here. I'll take off my toilet slippers because we're going to go in the next bathroom section. Oh, it's an onsen hotel, so in your room you're going to get like a couple of bath towels and some towels to take to the bath and a couple of bags to take them with. But then this also has a large shower in it, and I love this because Japanese hotels typically have really small bathrooms. The last bathroom I was in, I could not stretch my arms out, and I can stretch them out all the way here. There's a bathtub, big soaking bathtub, plus this, and I want to call your attention if you'll come in here to the bathroom. This is a bathroom with a view. It's got a window that looks out there, so pretty amazing room. So one of the best parts about staying in any onsen hotels is definitely the dinners. And so if you stay in an onsen hotel, make sure you book the room rate that includes dinner. Today we have a traditional kaiseki meal, which means it comes with lots of different courses. To start, we've got a few different appetizers that are here. We've got a little bit of soup with some Chinese herbs. Right here in the middle, we just got this bowl of sashimi delivered to us, and it's really slippery because this is made of ice. My hands are getting cold right now, but there's maguro tuna and some other different pieces of sashimi there. And then in here, come on in and take a look at this. What's in here? This hasn't been turned on the fire yet. We're going to eat this a little later. There's some local Fukushima beef and some asparagus, which is a very popular local plant from Fukushima. And of course, this all goes down very well with beer, biru, and we've got some glasses for sake, and we've got some sauces for some dishes yet to come. This is the whole menu in Japanese, but you'll see it all in pictures as it comes out. Okay, so I've devoured all those courses I showed you before, except the beef. That still hasn't been cooked yet. And the next course we got was the basashi. What's basashi? Basashi is horse sashimi. And we have a special dipping sauce for this one. Tender, spicy combination between the sauce and also the ginger on top of it, but very fresh tasting. The next course was a very decorative plate with some sea bream, sweet potato on top, and a little piece of jello with a plum inside. This looks like a piece of artwork. And our beef has started to cook. Next course, a little cup of chawanmushi, egg custard. And the last course before dessert, soba noodles and soup. The noodles, you dip them in the soup before you eat it. And the final course, dessert, a cheese souffle with pudding, a little thing that looks like a cake, a strawberry, a very orange, and a cup of tea. So I just had a good night's sleep on our futon mattresses. It's the next morning. It is 7:30 a.m. and before breakfast, I've got my little bag with my 2 towels in it, and I'm gonna go take another bath. But I'm gonna go take this bath in their other onsen that I can't show you because this one's not private. But I'll tell you about it afterwards. All right, well, I finished a relaxing plunge in the open air onsen, and if you're wondering where it is, it's actually just out down there. It looks out at this amazing ravine and river, and it's a 3-tier open air onsen. It's nicer than the other one. It really is. It was pretty good. Really, one of the great parts about outdoor onsens is looking at a nice nature scene, and this nature scene is really nice, especially with the sound of the rushing water and the snow here in February. So at breakfast, it's a really big breakfast buffet, and first things first, I mean, I've got my food, but before I eat, they've got these armbands to put on your arms to help make the sleeves smaller, so that way you don't get your sleeve in the food. This is pretty creative, I have to say. Now, let's take a look at what we've got here on the plate. We've got some French toast with honey from Aizu region, some rice, some miso soup. These look like some dumplings. This is some special yogurt made in Aizu with also the honey made in this region. And I think this is persimmon One of my favorite things in Japan, milk, and this one's from the Aizu region as well. I had the coffee milk earlier, same company here on the buffet. So much better than milk in the US. And one more item, they've got onsen eggs. These are eggs that have been boiled in the onsen hot spring water. Overall, a really great buffet breakfast in a really great hotel. Now, before we move on to my second favorite Japanese hot spring hotel, if you want more information on any of these hotels, like their addresses, their phone numbers, the hotel website, or even the hotel rates, because they fluctuate so often, I didn't include them here. In the description, you'll find a list to my full guide on these hotels that you can get all that information and direct links to booking.com to see their rates for the dates you want to go. Moving on to the second great Japanese hot spring hotel, Gettouan. This one has private onsen baths in each room, so this one's yours the whole time you are staying here. Gettouan is located in the town of Yufuen. This one is in Japan's southern island of Kyushu. And just bottom line up front, this is one of the most amazingly laid out traditional Japanese style hotels we've ever been into. So stay tuned. We're going to show you the areas around the hotel. It's quite an interesting property. We'll show you the inside of one of the rooms. We'll talk about dinner. We'll talk about breakfast. And then we're going to end with our review of the room. Are you ready? Are you ready, Topher?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. The parking lot is just right out front of the hotel. The staff will greet you when you park and bring you up this little walkway into the front door of the hotel. As you walk up this entrance path, the hotel already has a very rustic feel to it, particularly in January. Snow on the boulders and, of course, big icicles on the roof. This is the small hotel lobby. The front door is right there. There's a tea kettle to keep water hot. Has an old rustic feel to it. And then they check you in right here at the hotel bar. You get a hot welcome drink. And if you need to buy something, the front desk, it's just right over here. As you head out the main lobby, you go out onto this set of raised walkways. From here, there's amazing views of the mountains, and you just really feel like you're in a hideaway retreat in the middle of nature. But the experience really begins once you cross the bridge over the stream to the actual guest rooms. Yes, all guest rooms are across this rope bridge. Of course, when we were here, it was snowy and icy, so they've put down this kind of like straw mat to make this bridge less slippery. If we look to the right of this bridge, this mountain that's behind the cloud that you can't see right now, that's the Yufu Mountain. That's what this town is kind of named after. As soon as you cross over the bridge, it leads to a covered walkway. This covered walkway connects all the hotel rooms and the restaurant. And then just to the right here are the public spas. Women on the right, men on the left. They are open from 2 p.m. until 9 a.m. They have a decent size indoor bath and a decent size outdoor bath in the common spa. And then to get to our room, we'll walk down this walkway. And you can see these are various guest rooms down here. Everything is kind of set up cottage-like. There's only 18 guest rooms in the hotel, so it has a small boutique-ish feel. And then before we get to our room, there's a little lounge. The lounge here is open for coffee and tea. This is room number Yamabuki, or number 10. 10 doesn't mean Yamabuki, but every room here has a name. They're these cute independent cottages. Come on in, let me show you around. As you come in, the first thing is a little shoe alcove where you take off your shoes. There's a little cabinet here. It's probably super dark, so you might not be able to really see inside all that well, but they do provide you these fancy wooden slippers, traditional style. I will not be wearing those because no doubt they will not fit. Now that we've taken off our shoes, we come into the entry alcove. We'll pass through here. We'll come back here later because there's stuff in here to show you. We'll come through this sliding door and we'll come in the main part of the room. It is a very neat room. And the first thing you'll see when you come in the room, I'm going to put my key down, is this fancy table. And the thing about this fancy table is this wooden table has a heater underneath it, and this blanket is here to keep the heat in. And you can see Topher, he's got his legs in there to keep his little feet warm. Aww. And he's got his headband that says Japan #1.
Keep my feet in.
Okay, feet in. They're tucked. All right, good. So let's take a look at up on the table here what we've got. Here is a set for making tea. We've already taken it out to make some green tea. In the center of the table, this is lemon. I don't know if that's lemon candy or lemon sugar, but definitely something lemon. Over here, I talked about tea. On this countertop, there's a teapot. Not a teapot, but a thing that has hot water in it. It was already filled up. This is the ornamental alcove. Every traditional Japanese style hotel has a ornamental alcove. The windows are back here. They've all got these sliding rice paper things to cover it up. Heater, air purifier, little cabinet with a phone. Coming over here, they've got a flat panel television, and the staff told us that there's this red button over here, and if we push this red button, the lobby staff will just come running to our room. So don't push it. That's what he said. All right, so I want to push the button. All right, that's just me. This room has 2 Western-style beds with very interesting blue sheets on top. Like, I feel like I'm in like a crayon box or something. It's like a blue sheet, a red wall, a yellow thing. I mean, I like it. Underneath the blue sheet is a traditional Japanese style bedding. You'll see this in almost every traditional Japanese futon and a pillow. There's no headboard in the middle. There's one table over on that side. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the bathroom part of the room. I'm going to walk the long way this way so that I don't run too quickly in front of the camera and I don't give you whiplash turning this way. But before we come into the bathroom, there's the closet in the room. In the closet, the interesting things, there's the box of yukatas, and that's what I'm wearing right now. There's a lot of different layers here because it's very cold. So I'll talk about those in a moment and what I'm wearing. The other thing that's in the closet is the box of towels, the little hand towels for the bath, big towels, and a couple socks, and a bag to put that stuff in. There's a safe in here too, and then there's some of our clothes. So now, let me talk about the things that they give you. So as you notice, I have a lot of layers on right now. And it starts at the bottom. There's pants. And then, well, there's a shirt that matches the pants. It's brown. And then there's the yukata right here. And then there's another jacket and another jacket. I have like 17 layers on. I mean, it's not quite that much, but I feel definitely like I'm wearing an entire closet on me, but it'll keep me warm when I go outside. There's also this little rack right here that you can set up in case you use your towels and want to dry them. That's very interesting. You don't see these in a lot of hotel rooms, though a lot of onsen rooms have them. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the other side of the bathroom. There's a chair, first of all, and this chair is in front of the sink. There's a chair here because when Japanese get made up, they like to sit on a chair. And there's a whole set of, hair dryers, hair products, all that stuff. Most interesting thing, the water's running. And they told us, keep the water running. It prevents the pipes from freezing. It's -5 degrees Celsius today. This place gets pretty cold. All right, so now, where's the shower? Where's the bathtub? Well, there are these glass doors over here. And this is probably one of the most amazing parts of the room, is right out here, it has a private open air bath. And I'm gonna come over yonder. So every room in this hotel has a private hot spring bath. There's 2 pipes over here, you'll notice. There's the pipe that has water running out of it. That's hot water. There's a second pipe that's cold water. So they can't really regulate the flow of this, so that's up to you to do. And then there's a bucket over here, which is Topher's little hot spring. That's what he fits in. There's a stool that you can sit on. if you're taking a shower. And then there's these things. And I'm not really sure what these are. So if you know what these are, let me know. And then finally, there's a shower right here, so you can take a shower before you get into the bath, and that's the soap products over there. All right, so now you're wondering probably, where's the toilet? Before the toilet, I'm just going to mention, you can't see it right now, so I'm going to insert a shot in the daytime. There's a little balcony out here and almost like a private little yard, so you could enjoy the fresh air in your own private space. All right, so the toilet is back where we came in, and so we're going to go ahead and walk through the room. But the toilet's going to be this way. Before we get to the toilet, I'm just going to show you in here. This is the mini bar in the room, and everything in the mini bar is complimentary. There's apple juice, Coke, Canada Dry, and there's 4 cans of beer and 3 bottles of water. I've not been to a lot of rooms where you get free beer. There's Asahi and Sapporo. And I'll tell you, I'm not a beer drinker, really, but when I do drink beer, I drink Sapporo and Asahi. Alright, so just to the side of that mini bar, this is where the toilet is. And as we go into the toilet, I'll call your attention to the floor and to the toilet slippers that we put on before we come into the toilet. In this room, there is the fancy toilet that does all the bidet sort of stuff. There's a sink over here so you can wash your hands after you use the toilet. There is soap, and most interestingly, there is air freshener spray. So after you use the toilet, you can make it smell nicely fresh. Ohio, Topher.
Ohio.
That means good morning in Japanese. It's the morning, and you know what time it is, Topher? It's time for us to review the hotel. For those of you who watch these regularly, you'll know we rate things on a scale of 1 to 5 Tophers. So Topher, how many Tophers does this hotel get?
4 Tophers.
4 Tophers. And so we'll talk about the pros and then the cons of why 4 Tophers. And by the way, I'm doing this outside at the private bath of our room because that is the biggest pro. If you want to use an onsen or a Japanese hot spring and you don't want to go with a bunch of other people to be naked around them or see them, then you'll really like this hotel because it has the attached private hot spring bath. You can control the temperature. It has a very rustic feel to the whole hotel, but everything feels pretty new at the same time. The staff was excellent. We found their English to be quite good for the gentleman who helped us check in and also for the restaurant staff. Interesting observation, the front desk staff seems to be all men wearing suits, which is not typical for onsen hotels. Usually it has ladies in kimonos, but we didn't see any ladies in kimonos at the front desk area, just in the restaurant. The other pros about the hotel, we stayed in 3 onsen hotels on this trip, and if you want to watch those video reviews, links in the description or at the end of this video. But this one, the room was the nicest of them all. It was the biggest, it had the best heat, it had this heated table that was really awesome, that you put a blanket over your legs. That was really nice when it was cold. The property is also pretty amazing. You cross this bridge to get to your room, and it's really beautiful. It's neat to be here in the mountains. It also has a common spa that you can go to that has an outdoor area, but the outdoor area of this spa was not as good as the one at Yamamizuki, which we stayed at in another onsen town. So if you're looking for an outdoor onsen specifically, check out that one. If you're looking for your private onsen, check out this one. And if you're on a budget, then check out Sozankyo. I've got a review of that one too. That's in the Mount Aso, closer to the Aso town neighborhood. So now let's talk about the cons of this hotel. Cons. Well, it's kind of far from Yufuin. Yufuin's the town that it's in, so you won't really be able to like check in and then walk around for dinner. You're pretty much trapped in this resort. But if what you want to do is just take a bath all day and all night, then it's perfect and you're not worried about being trapped all that much. Another con just related to that location, it's kind of difficult to get to. It was cold and snowy here, so the roads were kind of treacherous. There's not very good public transportation to get here. I think you can take a train, and they have a shuttle bus. We drove, so this is definitely a place to come. I think best if you have a rental car, because you're not trapped to the buses and the shuttles. And the final con for this hotel, and actually it's part of the pro, this outdoor onsen, it's also where the shower is, right here. This is the shower head, and so if you want to take a shower, even if you're not taking a bath, you're taking it outside. And while it's cool to jump in the hot water, sometimes it can be a little cold to shower outside, specifically after you've taken the bath. I also just want to mention the food before I end. We had breakfast and dinner. We paid the rate that included that. Our rate was about $450 for 2 people, breakfast and dinner included. The dinner was the best of the 3 onsen hotels we've stayed in. The beef was really delicious. We got the beef served on this like hot rock that we cooked it on. It was a very intriguing, elaborate dinner. Breakfast was interesting, though probably not as good as the dinner. And if you're coming to Kyushu in Japan, you want an private hot spring, check out this hotel. Number 3, Yamamizuki. This one's also located on the southern island of Kyushu, and while the baths here are not private, the shared baths are some of the most amazing we've been into anywhere in Japan. The Yamamizuki Hotel, Kurakawa Onsen, this is one of the best onsen towns in Japan, so we are really excited to stay here. When we checked in, really great service. They showed us how to park, they helped us back in, they brought our luggage into the room, they showed us around the property, they brought us into the room, and then they gave us some Japanese sweets. And I didn't eat them when they were here so that I could eat them on camera in front of you. By the way, I've also changed into my yukata, the large size for someone like me. These are the typical attire that you wear around onsen hotels. And I've also got a little cup of green tea right here. And this thing looks like a samurai sword, so let's dig in. It's a sweet red bean candy. So let's look a little bit more around the property, and then we'll come back to take a look inside the room. The Yamamizuki Hotel is a traditional Japanese style inn, and everything about it traditionally Japanese. You'll notice the snow. This was in January, lots of snow at that time. This is the lobby. Just to the left is the front door. There's lots of slippers laid out. Very peaceful, very serene. This is looking at the lobby from another direction. On the left, there's a seating area, a wood-burning fireplace, some flowers in the middle, and then just to the right, that is the check-in area. Nobody there right now, but when it's check-in time, that's where you would check in. The Yamamizuki Hotel is located about 5 minutes from the town of Kurakawa Onsen, which is a really neat onsen. This is the river that runs through the town where all the hot spring water, after it's been used in the hot springs, ends up. The neatest part about the Kurakawa Onsen town is down by the river, because along the river you can see where all the onsen water runs down. And each one of these things, they're different hotels, and you can see the steam coming up from each of the hotels. It's also interesting if you kind of look between the buildings to see some of the pipes that run the hot spring water. I mean, it's for an advanced country, the pipes that run the water, pretty unadvanced, but I guess you don't really need like super modern plumbing to move hot water around. The onsen town is worth a visit for a stroll. You could also have dinner in the town. The hotel offers regular shuttles here, or you can drive. There's a big parking lot in the middle of the town. This is room 103, and if you're wondering why we're starting at my feet, it's because before you come in the room, you take off your slippers and then come into the main room alcove. So now that I've got my slippers off, come on in, let me show you inside the room. It is a traditional Japanese style room with tatami mats. There's a table in the center of it, 2 chairs. That's where you saw me sitting earlier. This will be replaced by futons at dinner, so I'll show you that later. Over here, there's what looks to be a closet, but these have the futons that are going to become the beds at dinner time. The bathroom's over that way. We'll come back to that. There's a flat panel television over here, and if you come over this way, there's a very beautiful lacquer box right here, Japanese lacquer. What is inside the box? I wonder. It is where the pen and the paper is, the stationery for the hotel. You know, Marriott's, they just put that on the desk, but here, pretty much everything is like hidden away that you want to use. And when I say everything is hidden away, everything is hidden away. The telephone, is hidden away because it's ugly. Nobody would want to look at an ugly telephone. So we're going to go ahead and keep that in there so you don't have to look at it either. Now over here, this is the ornamental alcove in the traditional Japanese style room. Everyone has one. This one's kind of nice. It has, these are fresh flowers and this scroll here. The room has a sitting room that's down here. These are rice paper doors that you could close if you want to. There's a really nice view of the river just down below. And I'm not sure if these windows open. Let's see. The window does in fact open, and this is the view outside of our window. A wonderfully snowy January afternoon. And I love the sound of that babbling brook running by. I've never had one of these in my room. This is like a full-on coffee machine that like grinds beans, makes strong and light. Just no cappuccino. They said the cappuccino doesn't work. I think there's no fresh milk in it. There's the sink in here. This side just has cold water. There's a second sink in the bathroom. If you come over here, the water glasses are also kept away in this little ornamental case, and there's a little drawer with nothing in it. And then underneath here, like I say, everything is hidden. These are the coffee cups and also the sugar. Did I mention everything is hidden? The refrigerator is hidden too. The fridge is down here. We've already bought some milk and pudding because it's famous in this area, but there's a thing for cold chilled water already in the room. They mentioned that the water out of the faucets is perfectly drinkable. All right, let's go back into the main part of the room, and there's a couple things over here. If you want to make tea, they've got a little thing for hot water to make tea down here in this electric kettle, and they've got a air purifier, trash can, interesting mirror, Kleenex, and a dish that has some green felt in it that I haven't really figured out what it's for. Maybe an ashtray, but I think it's a no smoking room. So, all right, let's go take a look at the bathroom over here. All right, inside the bathroom, it's a pretty basic, small bathroom. There's a sink. There's a box that has things like hairbrushes, razors, toothbrushes. They have wrapped cups when you want to brush your teeth. Over here is the in-room closet. The in-room closet has the basket that has the yukatas in it. These extra things to keep you warmer on top. They give you socks, the obi sash, some little bags, and of course the onsen towels to take with you to the hot spring. More on the hot spring later. And then there's this in-room safe down here which the room key operates. The final part of the bathroom over here is the part with the toilet, and I'll call your attention down to the floor. Before I come in here, I'm going to put on the bathroom slippers, because I don't want to get my socks dirty from the bathroom. And then in here, there's the Toto toilet. This one, it is one of the fancy kinds, because it's got the display up here that'll do the bidet and the wash. It flushes by pushing a button over there, and then after it flushes, the water runs on the toilet so you can wash your hands right here. This is kind of a fancy one, though there's no towels in this room, so to dry off my hands, I have to come back here and I guess get my towel that's over there or something, or maybe like this. All right, let's check in with you, or check in with me. Let's check in at dinner, and then we'll check in and show you what the room looked like after we eat dinner, and the room ninjas have been here. Did I mention that I love these doors? I love these doors. Hey, but as promised, we just got back from dinner, and dinner was pretty good. It was like this 22-course meal. We had these fish on sticks. I mean, it was a pretty good dinner in a private room. Took about an hour and a half, but pretty enjoyable. And the room ninjas have been here. As you can see, we have the futons, 2 futons that have been made up. Nice comfy sheets, and over here on the table, there's something, and it's hiding under this napkin, because everything in this room hides, and there's a message on top that says, "We hope you had a pleasant day, and that tomorrow will be better. We prepared your futon bedding while you were out so that you can rest comfortably. We wish you pleasant dreams, Yamamizuki. And so let's see what is under this napkin. Voila! It is a different tea set than was here before because, you know, it's more exciting to have tea and have a different tea set. It's a teapot, and then, you know, everything's hiding. Did you notice that? I took off a lid, and what do I find? A second lid. And in that second lid, then, ooh, it's for like Japanese, I think, barley tea. Ohio, Topher.
Hiya!
It's the morning, and you know what time it is?
It's hotel review time.
It's time for us to review the hotel, and for those of you who watch our reviews frequently, you'll know we rate things on a scale of 1 to 5 Tophers. So Tophers, how many Tophers do you think this hotel gets?
4 toppers.
4 Tophers. So we'll talk about the pros and cons as to why it got 4 Tophers, but let me tell you a little bit more about the property and the onsen because we just got out of the morning hot spring and the evening hot spring. We were in the hot spring both in the evening and the morning. And the hot spring at this hotel, it's amazing. It is one of the largest outdoor onsens that we've been to. And the onsen runs right along the river. It is truly fantastic. I will say though that you have to go to get to the outdoor onsen, to get to the changing room, you have to walk outside in the cold. In our case, it was in the snow, which was kind of cool. Actually really cool, actually really cold. So that's just sort of a thing to take into consideration. Some other things about the property, the common areas, there's kind of a small lobby. It's a sort of boutique-ish hotel. There's only about 20 rooms, 23, something like that total. The breakfast was served in these like private rooms. That was pretty nice. And the staff, I think, is really what made this hotel great. So if you're considering this hotel, you should consider it because it has an outdoor onsen, and you want an outdoor onsen. If you don't really care about an outdoor onsen, then you might be better off served by some of the hotels in the onsen town, because there you could actually walk around the little town. And so I've kind of wandered into pros and cons, but some of the other pros about this hotel, did I mention the outdoor onsen? I mean, the outdoor onsen, it was truly amazing. And the fact that it was on the river, and it was big, and it was outdoors, and it was deep, and it wasn't too busy, because the hotel only has about 20 or so rooms. You're not there with 8,000 other people in the hot water. I felt kind of like a snow monkey, and I'm sure Topher felt kind of like a snow panda. The staff was really great when we got here. The road to get here is kind of treacherous, maybe. To call it a one-lane road would be generous. It's like a half-lane road, but when we parked, they kind of like reserved a parking spot for us. We drove to the onsen town, and they had that same spot for us when we came back. They brought our luggage in. The staff speaks, at least the check-in staff speaks pretty good English. They were pretty welcoming, so the staff was great, the onsen was great. The cons, even though the reason why I can have this great outdoor onsen is because it's kind of up in the mountains away from the onsen town, that is one of the cons, that you can't really walk anywhere from here. You have to drive in, or the hotel offers a shuttle that you could take to the onsen town. So you can't really walk around the onsen town for dinner or things like that. The other con, the hotel, it's a little tired, I think. That's sort of like a classic part of these hotels. But we just came from another onsen hotel, and I guess it had a disaster and was rebuilt, and so everything in that one was much newer. The other cons are that there's no bathroom in our room. And for a hotel that we're paying about $400 a night, and that included dinner in the onsens, we would think that we could get a shower and a bath in the room. When I say there's no bathrooms, there's a toilet and the sink that you saw in the walkthrough, but there weren't no shower, no bathtub. You have to do that in the common bath, which might be okay, but this one you also have to walk outside to get there. So if it's raining or snowing, those are things to take into account. Also, the dinner and the breakfast, the service was really great, but the food was just, it wasn't excellent. I would say it was average, kaiseki dining. I mean, the traditional Japanese dining. Our breakfast, it almost took them 10 minutes to serve the breakfast because there were so many plates and things like that. But I don't know that there wasn't like any sashimi or anything like super delicious for breakfast. So the question is, would we stay at this hotel again? And should you stay at this hotel if you're coming to this part of Japan? Well, if what you're looking for is like the best outdoor onsen in Japan, then yes, you should stay here. And we'd totally stay here again for that onsen. It was amazing. If what you're looking for is an indoor onsen or just a traditional Japanese hotel experience and you don't care about the outdoor onsen, then maybe try one of the other hotels that's closer to the town. Number 4 is the Sozankyo Hotel, and what I really like about this one is it makes you feel like Japan in the days of old before there was all this fancy technology. But let's start with the location. This hotel is located in Japan on the southern island of Kyushu. It's located near Mount Aso, which is the active volcano that's in this area. And it is a traditional ryokan, or a traditional wooden Japanese onsen hotel. When you check into these sorts of hotels, when you come into your room, they give you a yukata. And if you're big like me, they give you a big yukata. And, well, they don't have panda-sized ones. But Topher's got his little headband on that says, Japan #1. But he can say it in Japanese.
Hola.
Hola! That's Spanish, Topher. How do you say that in Japanese?
Bonjour.
Bonjour is French. Okay, you're going on the table. All right, so let me show you around the room. Before I start, this hotel is pretty reasonably priced. We stayed here in January. This room was $163 a night, including breakfast. So let's start when you come in the room. What room number are we staying in? Well, it's this one, a game of match the symbols, and a big wooden block for the key to be on. So let me open up and we'll take you inside. These keys are so retro. I'm used to using key cards. So when you come into the room, the first area you come into is the entrance alcove. You look down on the floor here, there's these kind of wooden things. I'm wearing the slippers for the outside. I take these off as I come into the wooden entryway. And actually, when we came in, we were brought in by one of the hotel staff. We came into this entry area and all these things were closed, and of course I opened this one and she told me that's the toilet, don't go that way. So we'll go into the main part of the room, which is this way. So come on in, I'll set the key down, and so this is a traditional Japanese style room with tatami mats on the floor. There's a table in the middle with a little low seating chair. The table has set for making green tea in here. There's some green tea bags. We'll see where the hot water is in a moment. Some teacups, things like that. I'll point out the heat over here. This thing called Corona is super hot. It's actually gas, and there's actually a flame that's in this thing. This place is really old school. And there's new school, there's an air filter behind it, and an air conditioner up there, though we're here in January, so I don't think we're going to have to use the air conditioner. There is a television on the ornamental alcove, but I should point out this is not to place your luggage because it's the traditional ornamental alcove of the hotel. This is the closet that's in the room. Inside the closet, it has a basket that has the yukatas. This is where mine was. It also has the towels. You would take these to the hot spring bath. It has socks, the obi sash that I'm wearing, and then there's a couple of bags, one for men and a woman, to take with you to the hot spring. The box of Kleenex is also here, and traditional for Japanese hotels, the fabric freshener and air freshener on a cool hanger. There's also down here a very large safe, and you can put your stuff in there and keep it locked up. Also has a key. You have to put in 100 yen coin to get the key out. I find that funny. It's a coin locker literally in the room. So let's go ahead over here to this part of the room that had these rice paper things on it, and we'll open up these doors. This is a very interesting seating area. It has 2 leather chairs with a table and a window. And the windows, well, they're super fogged up because it's like 1 degree Celsius outside and 26 degrees Celsius inside, so it causes some fog. The other interesting part about the sitting area is what's back in this part of the sitting area, which is the sink. Would you expect a sink to be in a sitting area? Well, no, this is where the sink is in this room. Water, this is the water for drinking. There's soap, shampoo. There's the typical Japanese set of a razor, hairbrush, toothbrush, cotton brush. There's a, this is where you'd get your hot water for tea, and they've kindly filled it up for water. And then there's a little refrigerator down there. So now you may be saying to yourself, Chris, if this is where the sink is, then where's the toilet? Well, I guess I gave it away because I showed you where the toilet is. So let's go ahead and check that out. I want to point out one other thing before we go over there. In the room, there's this little alcove which has the futon or the bedding. That's going to be made later tonight, so I'll show you that when they come back and make the bed. Back in this little entryway, that was the front door. There's more bedding, more futons over here. Obviously, you can have a lot of people sleeping in this room. And then the toilet is in here. And before we go to the toilet, I want to point out, we're going to look down at the floor now. There's a pair of slippers here in the toilet. These are the toilet slippers. Make sure to wear the toilet slippers when you go to the toilet, because you do not want to take the dirty toilet floor onto the tatami mat. That is to be kept clean. So once we have our toilet slippers, then we can come into the toilet room. It is one of these fancy traditional Japanese toilet seats. It has the buttons for bidet and all those kinds of things. And I want to point out that when you flush it, if we look up here, this is where the sink is. And then if I flush it correctly, then the water runs here. While it's flushing, you can wash your hands out of that sink. And then there's some paper towels to dry your hands. I will also say this water here in January, it is ice cold. I mean, I think it's like snow that's melted and come down from that mountain. All right, well, let's check in with me, check in with you. Let's check in together after dinner, and I'll show you what the room looks like when the beds are made. So we're just preparing for the next shot, and we thought there was a ghost in the room because all of a sudden the light changed color in the room, and we couldn't figure out how is this light changing color, or why is it? And on the wall there was this remote control. At 6 o'clock it was set to change from yellow light to then like nighttime light, this white light. I think this is very interesting. So it's an old-timey hotel, but clearly some new technology in it. I think I like this light better. It's more warm. I also wanted to show you, there's this book that they put in the room, obviously because we're English speaking, that is 3 steps on how to wear a yukata. And it tells you how to wear this thing, how to take off your shoes, not to leave your luggage. By the way, if you want to know how to use an onsen, all this stuff, you should just watch my video on how to use an onsen. I go step by step through this in there, so I won't tell it to you here. But this is a very nice touch. The other thing I want to mention is this sitting room, and actually any of the other rooms except the main room with the heater are like super duper cold. So I'm not sure that we're going to be sitting in here all that much. I mean, maybe when we come back from the really hot onsen, the hot spring, I could see we might want to cool off a little bit. And it also has some curtains that we can put down here if we want to as well. But, you know, I don't think we actually need this because there's so much frost on the window we can't see in or out anyway. Alright, so as promised, it's after dinner and hot spring time, and as you can see right here, the room ninjas have come into the room and made the beds or made the futons. They got these comforters here. There's a little like 3-4 inches of foam and a pillow. The table's been moved over to that side of the room with all of our stuff on it. You can see it's very It's a, it's a lived-in room we've got here. So we just also came back from the hot spring, and the hot springs are nice. There's 4 different hot springs in this property. There's a men's hot spring, a women's hot spring, and then there's 2 private hot springs. The private hot springs are open air. The public hot springs, the big men's and women's ones, those are all inside. But boy, I feel kind of like a cooked lobster right now. Pretty hot. Okay, Topher, we just finished breakfast and got out of the hot spring. Do you know what time it is?
It's Topher review time.
It's the time for us to review the hotel. And for those of you who know, we rate things on a scale of 1 to 5 Tophers. And this hotel is going to get
3.5 Tophers.
3.5 Tophers. So before I get into the pros and the cons, let me tell you a little bit more about the hotel, and then we'll get to the pros and the cons. And if you're wondering why I'm talking quietly, it's because we're in the hotel's lounge/bar. In the morning, this is a lounge. This is nice jazz music in the background. But at night, it's the hotel's bar. You can see the sake on the wall behind us. So this property, it's over 100 years old. It's been a classic traditional Japanese style hotel ever since a famous poet stayed here. There's this big room where this poet stayed, and then it turned into a hotel. There's only about 16 rooms in this hotel. At least that seemed to be how many we counted on the map, so give or take a few. But it has a nice, small, boutique-ish feel. It's really great if you're driving a car, because there's not much really around the hotel. You're coming here, you're going to check in, and you're basically going to stay until the next day. I think it's really good for a one-night stay. You might not want to spend more than that here, though, because it seems like these hotels are typically one-night stays. But it's nice because, well, because it's small. Like a lot of onsen hotels, they're really big hotels, and really big hotels sometimes can just, you feel like you're in the hot spring with 1,000 other people. But here, because there's very few rooms and there's a lot of common areas of the hotel, you can enjoy them just by yourself, like we are in the lounge, and not bothering anybody. The check-in process was kind of neat. We parked our car. One of the hotel staff members came to our car. They took our luggage out of our car. We checked in at this table in the lobby. Before we checked in, they brought us some welcome drinks, some green tea, and a little cookie. And then they whisked us off to our room. Our room was up on the 2nd floor, and so they took our luggage up there. I felt well serviced, but never too over serviced, if that makes sense. And if you've seen some of my Japanese onsen hotel reviews like Aenokaze, you'll know what over service perhaps is. But I always felt very welcome here. The staff spoke working English. There was English in the places that it needed to be, and so I felt like we could get around. We just finished breakfast, and the breakfast was interesting because it was kind of a Japanese set meal in a box, but then a little buffet on the side. The buffet was mostly for rice, miso soup, drinks, coffee, and cereal. But I think it was a fairly decent breakfast. You have to pick a time that you want to eat breakfast between 7:30 and 9:30. That way they have everything set up there for you. Let's see, some of the other pros. While we were sleeping in the room, it was very quiet. This hotel, it's kind of, I don't know, I almost want to say a little bit in the middle of nowhere. Not completely nowhere, because there's other buildings around it, but also it's a very quiet place. They tell you some rules in the hotel that you need to be quiet when you're in common areas so you don't make it noisy. And I think there weren't too many guests, so it wasn't noisy at night. We slept nice. We were warm in our little room. But now on to the cons. The cons are, well, it's an old hotel, and so not everything's heated. And like going to the bathroom at night, the bathroom area where the toilet is, there's no heat in there. Well, there is heat on the toilet seat, but not the air in the room, so that's kind of cold. And then where the sink is in the room, we never were able to get the water hot, so it was cold water all the time. And the last part that sort of gives it the con is that there's no shower or bathtub in the room. They're just in the public baths, which is maybe okay, but kind of inconvenient. you know, especially if you're someone who maybe likes to take a longer shower in your room, it's just nice to have it there as well. Most onsen hotels will have a little small shower in the room, but the overall value of this hotel was very good. We paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $160, $170 US for one night, and that included breakfast. We didn't have the dinner, so we can't comment on that, but it was a very pleasant stay in Mount Aso. I think, again, the staff made it best in the classic style. So if you're considering coming to Aso, Japan, Mount Aso area, definitely consider this hotel. I also want to point out one last thing. Behind me in the window, you probably can't see it, but it's January and it's actually snowing. Some people think the Kyushu region is warm, but this is high elevation, and so it can be a little bit colder here.
All right, time for number 5.
Aenokaze Hot Spring Hotel in Wakura Onsen, Japan. I'm Chris. And today we're going to show you around this fabulous hotel. We'll show you around the property, we'll show you one of the rooms, this one right here, and we'll give you our review at the end. The Aenokaze Hotel is the sister hotel to Kagaya, which has won the Best Hospitality Awards in Japan for years running. Kagaya is just down the block from this hotel, and this one is a little cheaper than Kagaya, which is why we decided to stay here, but it's a traditional onsen hotel. When you check in traditional onsen hotel, they give you a yukata, which is what I'm wearing right here. It has the inner pajama, the outer jacket. They also give you these fancy socks because you wear them with these slippers that they give you in the room that are kind of like flip-flops because they have that thing that goes in between your toes. As a hot spring hotel, there are hot springs here that you can enjoy that are public baths. Clothing not required or not necessary or not allowed, as a matter of fact. So there's separate men's to women's sides. You can use the hot springs here at Aenokaze or also at the sister hotel Kagaya. For dinner, they have a dinner show that starts at 7:30. It's included with the room rates, and then they provide breakfast in the morning as well.
Check-in is in the hotel's very interesting open atrium lobby. It has a view of the bay in the back, a seating area on the top level, and then the gift shop in the lower level. If you check in any time before 3 o'clock, they'll seat you in the lobby area. They'll give you some Japanese tea, a snack, and a towel to refresh yourself, and you'll get to enjoy the view of the bay while you wait for your room to be ready.
In the center, they've got complimentary beverages. Vegetable juice, pineapple juice, orange juice, barley tea. They have some Japanese snacks, and of course, a selection of hot teas with these neat glasses. They have really neat glassed-in elevators that you can look at the ocean as you ride it down.
You can get off either in the lobby or where we're going to get off one level below in the gift shop.
The gift shop has a whole selection of frozen food specialties from this region of Japan, and of course a whole selection of gold leaf cosmetics. This region produces most of the gold leaf in Japan, so gold leaf things are popular. Lotion, edible gold leaf, it's kind of crazy. Even gold leaf golf balls. And if you want to bring back a yukata, well, they've got those here too. But maybe you didn't like the color of the obi sash you had? There's a wide selection of obi sashes and split toe socks. At the back of the souvenir shop, there's also a whole slew of vending machines in case you're thirsty or hungry between meals. There's a coffee vending machine where you can get freshly ground beans, hot or cold coffee. One vending machine with drinks. Another vending machine with more drinks. A third vending machine of drinks. This vending machine is beer and chuhai. An ice cream machine for the sweet tooth. And this one selling things that look like French fries and cup of noodle. This is room 671. Let me show you around. The first thing, as you come in the room,
There's a little cabinet here on the side, which is where you store your shoes. And there's this little alcove right here, which is where you remove your shoes. I'm wearing the fancy flip-flops at this point. So you remove these before you come in. There's a couple doors here on the left and right, which is where the bathrooms are. And over here is where the futons are. I'll show you that in a moment. So we'll go this way through this sliding door. This is the door that opens into the main part of the room. The first thing that you'll notice looking out the window there is it is the ocean. All of the rooms here are oceanfront rooms, which are really neat. As we come in and close the sliding door, the room is essentially, this part of it is one big room. This part of the room is where the yukatas are. When you come in, they ask you for your height, and then they bring you appropriate sized ones for your height. I am 180 centimeters, in case you were wondering. There's also safety boxes, so you can lock up your cell phone. If we close the closet, if we come over here, every traditional Japanese room has this area, which is kind of a decorative area that usually has flowers and a scroll hanging on the wall. Topher's hanging out here because he's a major part of our room. There's a table in the middle with these lovely chairs that you can sit on, and they even have armrests next to them. As you come into the room, they explain the hotel to you. They have this little guide here called the Ryokan Guide, which talks about how to wear the yukata, how to use the onsen, how to eat the Japanese food. It's all in English. That's a nice touch. Okay, this, in a bit, you're gonna see won't be here. When we go to dinner, the room ninjas are gonna come. They're gonna take this out and they're gonna replace it with our futons for sleeping. Because you might be thinking to yourself, where's the bed? And it will be here in a little bit. There is a lovely seating area here over by the window. And in this seating area, there are a couple of these bags. The staff points out that these bags are for you to take to the hot spring when you go. They give you a towel. This towel is for you to wash yourself, take a shower before you go in the bath, then to never to put in the bath. Many people keep it on their heads to keep it out of the water. They also have a toothbrush in here, and this bag you can store any of your personal items as you go to the hot spring. Over on this side is a mirror behind this wooden door. You open it up and you can see yourself in the mirror. It's kind of cool because you don't have to look at yourself all the time if you don't want to. You can hide that away. There is an air purifier here. There is a hot water pot that's been filled with hot water, and it is so that you can make Japanese tea. They have a Japanese tea set over there that has all of the items you'd need to make Japanese tea. In a lot of onsen hotels, they do this in your room when you check in. Kagaya, they'll do it in your room when you check in. Here, they give you the tea downstairs in the lobby when you check in, and you admire the ocean view from there. There is a refrigerator. I put that bottle of water in there, but it has 3 glasses that they're keeping cold. The final part of this main room that I'll point out is the view out the window. It's a beautiful panoramic view of the bay here. Okay, so let's go back to where we started, which was the entry part of the room through this sliding door. Now, when you check in, there will be a girl in a kimono who will bring you up to the room and check you in. And every time she leaves and comes back, she'll walk through this door. She'll kneel down, she'll bow to you, and then close the door. I would have videotaped her doing it, but it probably would have been kind of creepy, so that's why I'm reenacting it. Okay, so if we come over here, back into the part of the room with many doors, this way is the bathroom. The bathroom has tatami mats on the floor as well. There's a stool so that you can sit as you're using the bathroom. There's a sink. There are 2 separate sets of amenities on the left and right. This is amenities for men. That's amenities for women. Hair dryer, hairbrush, towels. The other part of the bathroom is behind this door, and it is the shower and the bathtub. There is a little stool in this one as well because Japanese like to sit while they take their shower. It's a small tub, good enough for soaking in it, but I certainly couldn't stretch out in this thing. I'd be in the tub like this the whole time. There's also a bucket here, what you often see in Japanese onsen hotels, so you can fill it up, wash your head. And you probably wouldn't be using this much because you're at a hot spring hotel. And the final part of the bathroom, you might be asking yourself, where's the toilet? And this is unusual because it's actually separated across the hall from the main part of the bathroom. There's this toilet room right here, and if I'll call your attention to the floor, they have the toilet slippers that you put on when you come into this part of the room, so you keep your socks clean. And then the toilet is very interesting. You don't see this very often because the toilet actually has a sink on top of it. So after you're done using the restroom here, you can wash your hands. After you flush, it runs the water. You can wash your hands with the water that runs into the tank. And then they've got paper towels over here. That's a very ingenious way of conserving water. Just outside the toilet room, this is the bedroom. When I say bedroom, I mean this is the room where the beds are in, and they hide them back here. These are the futons that the room ninjas are gonna take out, put into the room and make the beds. So I'll show you that right now. And as promised, we just came back from dinner, and the dinner show, the room ninjas have been here. And you can see the futons are laid out along with the comforter and the pillow. This is one of the bean kind of pillows. Looks comfy for the night. The other thing I'll point out is the table is gone. The table moved under here. There's this is raised up, so the table slides underneath there. And over here, they brought a jug of ice water. I typically travel with a bottle of water, and actually I did for here because you saw it in the fridge earlier, but I don't need it because they brought it for your room. Something else I want to share about wearing my yukata is when we went to leave the hotel earlier, we took the shuttle to Kagaya, the sister hotel, to use the hot spring over there. And as we were walking out of the hotel, the head lady in the kimono, she looked mortified by how I was wearing my yukata. And earlier, I had the left side first and then the right side over, which is apparently what they do to dead people in Japan. And so I guess she thought I was a zombie, I don't know, but she would actually not let us leave the hotel until we went into the bathroom and fixed our yukatas. And she actually waited outside the bathroom to make sure that when we came out that it was done the right way. Oh, and she decided to fix my obi sash too, because it was apparently too high. You know, I can see why this hotel has won the service awards year after year, because then she was like, oh, and you were leaving, where are you going? Are you going to Kagaya? Let me call a van. She snapped her fingers, a van comes up, picks us up, drives us right down there. We get to Kagaya, and we're looking at a sign. Another lady, girl in a kimono, comes up to us and says, you know, oh, let me take you to the onsen. And she walks us through the whole hotel about 5 minutes to lead us up to where the hot springs are. So that was a very interesting experience. Almost a little bit too much service, if you ask me, because I do these videos and I went outside Kagaya to shoot some video, but as soon as I went out, they were asking me if I want to take the shuttle back to Aenokaze. And I was like, no, it's okay. And they're like, well, are you gonna walk then? And I was like, no, I just want to take a video. Oh, okay. And then when I came back in, they were like, where do you want to go? And they were ready to take me wherever I wanted to go. So, you know, sometimes it's just a little too much, a little too stressful. The final thing I'll point out about this yukata is you might be asking yourself, Chris, it doesn't have any pockets. Where do you put that key that you had earlier? Well, the sleeves of the yukata actually serve as pockets. So if you need to store anything, that's one of the reasons why you have the jacket, because then you can take things and put them right there in the sleeve. Neat. Okay, Topher, it's that time. It's time for us to do our review. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so overall we enjoyed our experience here at Aenokaze. It's kind of cool because you get a little bit of a double onsen experience. You get to go in the hot springs at Aenokaze, and you get to go in the hot springs at Kagaya. So it's almost like 2 hot springs for the price of 1. I will say that Topher and I, we liked the hot springs better in Aenokaze, even though they're a smaller bath. The outside one is more rocky, and so it has more of a natural feel, but it is cool to experience both when you're here. We're also glad that we stayed at Aenokaze instead of Kagaya, because this hotel is a little less expensive and also a little less over the top with the service, which we enjoyed a bit more. The breakfast that we had, we'll say that that was actually one part where we're gonna dink them a little bit, because we've had better breakfasts in other onsen hotels, and also just in other hotels that we've stayed in the region that aren't even high-end hotels. The actual rooms and things like that, they are a little bit tired. The wood looks like it's seen better days. They've clearly tried to modernize some parts of it, and actually it looks very good at night, but in the daytime when the sun shines in, the rooms have a bit of a tired look. The room itself was quiet, the air conditioning was cold, the onsen baths were hot, the dinner was quite good. We really enjoyed the dinner show. The dinner seating where you're seated in a private room is very unique and something that we haven't experienced before, so that was cool. Okay, Topher, so how many Tophers are we gonna give this hotel?
4 Tophers.
4 Tophers, and we're giving it 4 Tophers in comparison to other onsen hotels because we've actually stayed at a lot of hot spring hotels on our trips to Japan, and there's other ones that we've found provide equally good service, but have nicer rooms and nicer hot springs. This one does get some props for the ocean view, which is nice, but it's also nice to enjoy an onsen in the mountains looking out at a stream as well.
Now it's time for number 6.
Kanazawa Sainoniwa Hotel in Kanazawa, Japan. This hotel behind me is the hotel. It is a modern, traditional Japanese hotel. It's a very cool hotel. They have a number of traditional Japanese gardens. There's this one out here that I'm standing in front of, out in front of the lobby. There's one in the courtyard. There's one off of the public bath. So it's a very tranquil, serene Japanese setting in a hotel that's new, and so it has all the modern amenities of a new hotel. It's located a bit of a ways from Kanazawa Station, but the hotel provides free shuttle buses that you can take from the hotel to the train station. In this video, I'll show you the rest of the amenities and one of the hotel rooms. In front of the hotel, they've got this neat glassed-in waiting room. You can wait here to take the shuttles to the train station. This hotel has really thought of everything. Out here, right in front of the lobby, they've got this little building with bikes. They've got 10 bikes as a guest that you can take and ride around Kanazawa. That's pretty cool. If you're renting or driving a car, they have free parking. There's our car right there. The hotel has a very neat open courtyard design. You can see all the floors from every other floor. There's a neat Japanese garden and fountain in the middle, and each of the floors also has a seating and reading area with magazines and books. Of course, they are in Japanese. The public bath is open in the morning, 6 to 9, and in the evenings from 3 to midnight. The entrance is through that door. On the left is the women's spa, on the right is the men's spa. There's 2 massage chairs and a room with a little treadmill. Just to the side of the public bath, there's a laundry room with complimentary washers and dryers. The vending machine room has a pretty impressive selection of drinks, beer, and even food. And if you need to use a microwave, they've got one in the corner too. At the front of the hotel, just off the lobby, there's a lounge room of sorts. It's got cold drinks like iced tea on one side, a bunch of nice chairs to look at the garden in the middle, and hot drinks over here, hot coffee and hot tea, complimentary. This is room 406, a standard twin room. I'm being quiet because in Japanese hotels in the hallway, you have to be quiet. There's 2 doors. This is the first door. It slides open, no key required for this door. Then you come into this little antechamber of sorts. There's a second door here. This is the one you actually use your hotel key card on. And if we come in, there's this additional antechamber inside the key card room. This is the part of the room where you remove your shoes. So I've already taken off my shoes right here, and I'm wearing these fancy wooden slippers. They are really not very comfortable, and they're really too small for my feet. So then you remove your shoes, and you come inside the room. Before I go into the antechamber, two things I want to show you. On the top here, there's this little vase, and these are actually fresh flowers. There's also this interesting rock artwork decoration, and in case you need a shoehorn to help putting on your shoes, there's this fancy wooden shoehorn. It's good for beating people upside the head as well. All right, so now I'll show you around the room. As you come in the room from the antechamber, you come in the first of three parts of the room. This is the part of the room that has two twin beds. This is the standard twin room. Very lovely looking beds. We've got Topher hanging out right here. There are a couple of these baskets that are hanging out here that have some soap in them, and this little baggie. This is for you to take when you go to the spa or the onsen to put your belongings in with you. There's also this box, and this box has the room wear or the lounge wear, and that's what I'm wearing right here. This is the room wear actually, and they have two sizes, but they don't have a size for me big enough. When we checked in, they brought this big size as we ran in the elevator, so that's what I'm wearing. You can wear this everywhere in the hotel except the lobby. Okay, now let me show you around backwards this way down this long hallway. There's a little nook right here. There's a mirror right here. The bathroom is this way. We'll come back to that in a sec. The closet is here. It's a small closet, but inside the closet, something I want to point out is there is a pants press inside the closet, so you can keep your pants perfectly pressed. And something that's in a lot of Japanese closets is a fabric and air freshener, so you can use this to freshen up your fabric. Just next to the closet, down here, is the in-room refrigerator. It's an interesting one because it actually opens like a drawer. I've never had a drawer opening refrigerator. There's a couple of complimentary bottles of water with a cute little logo on it. Above the refrigerator, there's another drawer. This has the in-room tea set and also ice pail. All right, and now we'll check out this back part of the room, which is the desk and sitting part of the room. So I'm going to have a seat here at the desk, and I'm going to turn on my fancy lamp, maybe, if I can figure out how to open it without breaking it. Okay, now that I figured out how to turn on my lamp, this right here is the desk. It's a very nice looking desk with a very sleek and modern appearance. There's a very thin phone here. There are some drawers underneath the desk that you can use to store stuff in. The safe is down here. These drawers are also empty. There's the in-room information here. There's a little candy in the room, along with a little Japanese origami. It's 3 seats, 2 seats for the desk, so 2 people can be using the desk. Looking out the window this way, you can see Kanazawa. If you're driving, there's a parking lot across the street that you can do free self-parking. One thing I want to point out in this room, if you come over this way, there's a window right here. This window is a window into the bathroom. On the other side of that window is the bathtub. And the reason why that window is there is so that you can take the television and tilt it towards you so that you can watch TV from the bathtub. Let's head over and see the bathtub in the bathroom now. Come back this way. Close the closet door, and we come in here. The bathroom is kind of a set of 3 rooms. There's a set of crazy switches on the wall that you can turn on and off all the lights in here, and you can also adjust the fan speed. There's a very nice mirror, a very nice set of towels, very nice amenities here. There's also a little stool. If you're tired, you can sit down on the stool. In these drawers, there's also a scale, so you can weigh yourself. I never do that because that's just depressing. The next part of the bathroom is the toilet room, and the toilet room has toilet slippers. This is something you'll often see in Japanese rooms because you wouldn't want to bring the toilet feet into the rest of the room, so you wear the toilet slippers. It has the fancy Toto washlet. You can see there's this little control panel on the wall. This control panel controls the spray and the bidet, so you can keep yourself nice and clean after using the toilet. Now the final part of the bathroom, I now need to remove my toilet slippers as I go this way, is the shower part of the room. I need to reach this way to turn on the light. All right, thank you. So this is the shower part of the bathroom. This is a walk-in shower, kind of like walk-in closets. I just kind of walked in here and I'm in the shower. There's a contraption here, there's a handheld, and there's also a rain head. There is a little stool so that you can sit, and there's also a bucket because when Japanese people take a shower, they like to fill this up and put it over their head to wash their hair. There's a big soaking bathtub that I referred to earlier, and this bathtub, I should sit this way so that you can see me, this bathtub is big enough for me. Problem is, if I want to watch the TV, I have to watch it that way, because you can see there's the window. But they thought of everything. If you don't want people to see you out the window, well, there's a little curtain, and you can pull it right down like that. Okay, Topher, it's that time to do our review. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's talk about what was good about the hotel and maybe what was not so good about the hotel. So what was good about the hotel, it's a really great combination of Japanese style and a modern hotel. So if you were thinking that you might want to try out a Japanese hotel, but you're not sure that you're ready for the full experience of like sleeping on a futon on the floor, this is a great place to stay because you get the Japanese culture and amenities, but still modern beds and modern features. The service was really excellent. It was raining today. As we walked into the hotel, the staff was coming over with an umbrella to hold it over our heads. The breakfast was really good. It's an excellent Japanese breakfast. Don't really be expecting American food. They have omelets on the breakfast, but they're definitely Japanese omelets. The gardens are beautiful. The property's beautiful. It has the public bath, and because it's not a huge onsen hotel, at least for me as a guy, there was almost nobody ever in the public bath with me. The girls a little busier, but not super packed. The cons, it is kind of in the middle of nowhere. I mean, even though it's 1.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers from the train station, it's on the side of the train station with none of the touristy attractions. There's really no restaurants that are near the hotel, and the streets that are near here, well, there's no sidewalks to walk on them. So you either need to have a rental car or be doing this as a staycation, like you just check into the hotel, you stay here, you hang out, and then you leave the next day. They have the shuttle that picks you up from the train station, takes you back, so it makes it easy to do that. Though even with the cons, I may have made it sound like a lot of them, we still really enjoyed this hotel. Would definitely come back if we were in Kanazawa, because we have a car. So overall, Topher, what rating are you going to give it?
4.5.
4.5 Tophers! All right.
Next up at number 7, we've got Funaya Hotel, located in the town of Dogo Onsen. This one's on the island of Shikoku, just to the southwest of Osaka.
Funaya is a traditional Japanese-style hot spring hotel with 68 rooms. What is slightly untraditional about it, though, is that it's actually located in the middle of a slightly bustling small city, Dogo Onsen. Most hot spring hotels are located in the middle of nowhere, but here you've actually got stuff to do outside of the hotel. If you're driving to the hotel, they provide valet parking. If you're taking public transportation, the Iyo Railway operates a train to the Dogo Onsen station. From here, it's just 2 blocks up that road to Funaya. 2 blocks from the hotel, there's a cute little covered shopping street where you can buy all sorts of souvenirs. really even a spot to have dinner if you're not having dinner at the hotel. And that shopping street at the end leads to Dogo Onsen main building. This public bath has been here since 1894. Anybody can go in for 400 yen. It's interesting to go inside to see it for the experience, but if you really want to enjoy the onsen, the hotel is probably a better bet, because at this one, I've never been around more naked people in a smaller space.
The hotel is composed of two buildings, this one here on the right, this one here in the back, and they're connected by a little bridge that crosses over a stream. This is another angle looking between the two buildings, and in the middle of the two is a neat Japanese garden. A good place to just relax and enjoy the peace.
The onsens are located on the second and third floor of the adjacent building. Next to the second floor onsen is a very lovely, relaxing room, where they have some very refreshing cold iced tea, and some nice lounge chairs that you can lounge in. Even get a massage while you're lounging.
This is the lobby of the hotel. The check-in desk is to the left, and the restaurant is off to the right.
For the real onsen experience, get one of the room plans that includes dinner and breakfast. Dinner at the restaurant is a 12-course meal, with 5 courses of the 12 being seafood. So I hope you're a seafood lover, and plan for a couple hours, because the 12 courses do take a while to deliver.
Now that we've checked out the hotel grounds and its surroundings, let's head on up to the 8th floor and check out room 804.
This is easily one of the largest hotel rooms I've stayed at anywhere in Japan, and one of the most unique. So let me show you around. The visit starts as they bring you into your room. They give you some Japanese green tea, and then they explain the yukata to you. They give you yukata to wear in the room, and it even includes these neat socks here, which are toe socks that have the split toe. The entrance is that way, which I'll show you in a moment. They bring you into the main room here, which has a air purifier, a table. Over in that corner there's a telephone. There's a big table here in the middle with a couple chairs that you can sit on while they serve you the tea. Interesting part of these chairs is they have armrests, which are separate armrests. I find that interesting. I've never seen that before. So if we come over this way, there's kind of an extra room over here, which is where they bring your luggage and set your luggage. In these various closets is where they have the futons that I'll be sleeping on later. They come later to make your room and put the futons out. And then in this closet back here, they have extra yukatas and obi sashes. So that's this room. And if we come back into the main room this way, over to this side by the window, there's a nice little sitting room by the balcony where my traveling buddies Topher and Ushi are seated. There's a view out the window of the town below. Just to the left of the sitting room is another room here, which is the dressing room. This room, as far as I can tell, is for dressing, and if you come in this little room, there is a mirror that's covered up by a board.
Actually, there's 3 mirrors. Hello?
And then below that table is a in-room safe.
The safe has 6 different compartments and keys to go along with each one.
Before we go over to the entryway in the bathroom, I'll point out there's one modern amenity in this room, and it is the television over in the corner. So you're not completely plugged out from the modern life.
Adjacent to the television was a Japanese flower decoration made of real flowers.
So we'll come this way, back into the entry hallway. And as we come this way into the entry hallway, here there is a set hot water and a little set for making more tea, if you want more tea than what they provided to you. Below the tea set is a little mini bar refrigerator that's stocked with 4 bottles of beer. And here's the entryway. When we came in, we took off our shoes, and they hid our shoes in this little shoe hideaway, and they've replaced them with these wonderful sandals right here that go with my split toe socks. Okay, so if we turn left from the entryway, we'll come over to the 3 rooms that are the bathroom. This room right here is the bathroom where the toilet is. They provide some slippers that you can wear inside. And then there's a sink here, little push thing, where you can wash your hands in that bathroom. And then if we come over this way, This is the main washing area bathroom that has a tatami mat for the floor, 2 sinks, some very nice bathroom amenities that they even have a little zipper container for some of the girls' amenities, which include hairbands and other things like that. There is a little stool here in the corner if you feel like sitting while you're in front of the mirror. And then the other room in the shower, which is very unique. I've never really seen a bathroom like this before. It is a complete wooden bathroom with a wooden shower and a wooden bathtub. Wouldn't have expected it. Would. See, I wouldn't have expected it. It's really funny. Okay. While you're out at dinner, the hotel staff turns your room into a bedroom. They move the table over to that other room, so that room makes sense now. And then they put down 2 futons with a couple comforters. Tofunushi, they're already in bed. What I did find interesting and unique is they put a little basket next to the futons with a flashlight, probably so that you can find your way to the bathroom at night. Sorry, you can't follow me here. Good morning, Ohayo gozaimasu. It is the next day of our stay. We went to breakfast, and in the 20 minutes that we were seated at breakfast, the room-making ninjas came back in our room, took the beds away, took the table, and put it here. So, every time I come back to the room, I always wonder what's going to happen next. Kind of like a surprise every time you come back.